All right, so today we're going to talk about Joshua. If you ever heard of Joshua, you probably heard of the victory that he had at the walls of Jericho. But there is also a lot of his story that I want to delve into today because I feel like that it could really speak to both the young people and the older generation. When I think of Joshua, I think of my generation. Millennials were born from 1981 to 1996, and the Generation Z is from 1996 to 2010. We are literally picking up the torch from the last generation. So we're going to go to Joshua 1 through 7. When you get there, say amen. I won't be before you long. All right. Y'all got there fast. Y'all better know where Joshua is. All right. After the death of Moses, the Lord's servant, hold on, this is not I'm going to do King James Version. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, therefore, arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness in this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. There shall not be any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses. So I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. So I just want to stop right there because Moses has died, and now Joshua has to literally grab the torch from Moses and continue to go. And Moses never made it to the promised land. They were in the wilderness for 40 days because they were complaining. So now Joshua has to do something that the generation before him could not do. And that's a lot of pressure, and I believe that that's where millennials are. We got to do things that our parents couldn't do, or we got to open doors that necessarily weren't open to them. And that's just such an integral part of the story because when you're the one to break the generational curses, it's really hard. It's not easy. And you're going to go through a lot of trials, and you have to understand, like, okay, God is telling me to do this. He's telling me that I will not fail. And we have to be very careful when God is giving us instructions. He'll tell you in the beginning, I won't fail you, I won't forsake you, because I know there are going to be some moments in your journey where you're going to think that I am. But I'm letting you know before you even walk into that season, before you even walk into that place, before I even open that door, let me just go ahead and let you know I ain't going to fail you. We are here. You know, I love you. I'm not going to fail you. I'm not going to forsake you. And I want you to remember this. And so what you'll see in Joshua is God will continue to say this. Sometimes he has to remind us, I'm not going to forsake you and I'm not going to fail you. So verse 6, he says, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shall thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. So he's telling him, wherever you go, I got you. No matter where you step into, no matter where I'm going to take you, you have to understand that I got you. And he's also reminding him that everything that I said to Moses didn't go on deaf ears. You have the torch now. Moses is gone. It's now time for you to walk into where I'm trying to take you. And I'm sure Joshua was scared because he was young. And when you're young, you don't think that you're ready and you're adequate enough to do the things that the people before you do, or to walk into doors that no one else in your family has walked into. But it's important that you get a relationship with God and you understand and begin to be able to hear him. Because Joshua wouldn't have been able to hear him had he not had a relationship with God. All right, now we're going to go into Joshua 2. One and 2. Right. And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. So they're entering into the place that they're supposed to capture first. And when they did so, the king of Jericho of that place already knew that they were coming. But there was a harlot, and if you don't know what a harlot is, it's a prostitute. But she went ahead and she let them hide in her house. And that showed me that God will use every single person around you. He will use every single piece of the story so that you can walk into your purpose. This is not something small. Like, Rahab wasn't supposed to let them in. She wasn't supposed to let them stay up there, but she let them do that anyway. And he uses every part of the puzzle. And sometimes we think, I don't even know why I'm meeting this person. I don't even know why I'm talking to them. But he's trying to use that as well for your purpose. You have to understand that everything is going to come together for that purpose. And he uses anybody that he wants to use. He'll use a hoe. That, he uses everyone. Some of us think I'm too far gone, God. I done did too much. He's like, listen, Rahab in heaven, and you're going to be there too. So you have to understand that he's going to use you no matter where you are. He's like, I'm still going to use you. It's okay. I know you're messing up. I know you're jacked up. I'm going to still use you. And so that was very important to me, because I believe that a lot of people are scared to come to church. They're scared to really give their lives to God. They're scared to have a relationship with God because they think they're going to be condemned every 5 seconds, when he is using everybody in the Bible. The Bible is full of unlikely people being used for God. So please understand that if you are unlikely, if it doesn't make sense for you to make it, guess what? That's where the testimony is going to lie. I'm going to skip Joshua 3-6, because that was just God giving Joshua instructions the entire time. He was letting him know what you need to do in order to get prepared to walk into this place that I'm trying to take you. But this is also very important, because when God first tells us that he wants us to do something, we be like, okay, we get a little scared. And then it's very important to make sure that you remain obedient the entire time. We don't like to be obedient. We like to do what we want to do. We like to be in control. So it's very important that you get into a posture with God where you say, you know what, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And you got to be careful when you say that, because he'll be like, okay, cool. And he will push you into some things. I told him that last year, and it has been just a crazy year. I was like, wow, I didn't know you were going to do that. But you have to get into a posture with God and say, I'm willing to do whatever you want to do. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to do anything else. I'm willing to do what you want me to do. And that was Joshua's posture. And that's something that we can learn from him, to get that posture with God. All right, so we're going to go to Joshua 7. Not Joshua 7, Joshua 6. Yes, Joshua 6, sorry. All right, so God has given them instructions to go around the city's walls for 7 days. Does that sound right? That's weird. It's like you want us to win the battle, but you're telling us to walk around the very place that we're supposed to be defeating. That doesn't make sense. But I believe that God was trying to show them what it means to praise him in advance. What it means to say, you know what? It doesn't look like I'm winning. It doesn't even look like I'm doing anything. But let me just go ahead and praise God. Let me just go ahead and praise him for what he's doing. And a lot of us have a struggle doing that because we are so stuck on what we see. And sometimes your reality won't match your purpose. That's the whole point of it. He's like, I know it don't look right. I know it don't look good. I know you don't qualify. I know you don't match up. That is where I'm going to move. And so Joshua kept waking them up. Everything God told Joshua to do, Joshua was telling everybody to do. And so on the 7th day, so we're going to go to, is it 15? 17. 15. Joshua 6:15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. So it was on the 7th day, and it was the 7th time. Some of us are stopping at 6. We are like, you know what? I done ran around this city 6 times. You ain't did nothing yet. You ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna do it, God. I don't understand what you're doing. It is so important not to stop on 6. We want to give up. It's hard. I'm sure they were tired by then. And you got to understand their mindset. We've been in the wilderness for 40 days, and your young self gonna lead us here? We just supposed to follow what you're doing? And so he's saying, okay, I need y'all to go around it again. And I'm sure the people wanted to complain. I'm sure the people even said stuff like, Joshua don't know what he's talking about, but we gonna do what he say, whatever. Okay, it's cool. But it's very important not to stop on 6. And when he's telling you to do something, you really have to listen. You have to begin to build a relationship with God. I got to a place with God where I ask him questions. Why that doesn't make sense to me. Can you help it make sense to me? And sometimes he'll tell me it's not supposed to. And I say, okay, cool. You didn't have to do that. But like, you know, you have to have that candidness with God. Like, listen, what are you talking? This don't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. But understand that God uses unlikely situations as well. Not only is he using unlikely people, he's using unlikely situations because he knows if I bring them out of this, they're going to talk about it to everybody. They're going to have a testimony. And he knows who's going to talk. He knows that I had a gift of gab, so he put me through stuff because he knows I'm going to tell people, y'all, I've been there. I've done that. I know what it looked like. I can write a book about it. He knows who to use. He knows what testimonies to give people. He knows what situations to put you in to make it seem like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but I know that I'm going to trust God. And Joshua had reached that posture with God. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to trust God. He hasn't led me wrong yet, so I'm going to trust God. And mind you, they haven't won a battle yet. And it doesn't even tell us how long this process was. I bet it was like a year or so. I bet it wasn't we just 2 weeks going around. Like, I bet it took time for him to tell the people of Israel to consecrate yourselves and do the things that you need to do. It takes time. And what I'm realizing is our generation doesn't like things that take time. And, you know, I've seen my parents say, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. And, you know, and it's crazy. I thought I would never say that. But when I was teaching, I was saying that to my kids. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't act like we do. And it is true. We never act like the generation before us. But it is things that we're supposed to learn from them. And we have to understand that. But we like to give up in the sixth. We on the sixth round. We on the sixth round, and he's like, one more. If you just do it one more. I'm just trying to see how long your faith can go. Because I can't take you any higher if you getting stopped before I even let you win the first battle. I can't take you any higher. And so what he's doing is he's testing their faith. How many times will you go around the city? How many times will you obey me? How long will you obey me? We like to obey God for 2 weeks and think that we good. We say, I done prayed, I done did my devotionals, I done talked to God. Woo! I done even told somebody about God, and it was, you know, I have done a lot. That's our generation. We like microwave blessings. I know God gonna give it to me now. Woo! I done did all that I needed to do. Remember, I got off social media for 4 months. I got off. Did when I consecrated myself. God, hallelujah. And do you think that I got what I wanted on the next week? God said, we about to test this. What did you do it for? And what we got to stop doing is having a relationship with God and building a relationship with God dependent on what he can give you. Because if he does nothing else, you're still supposed to praise him. He's already done enough. And when you get to that place in your life where you say, you've done enough, God, now you can move. Now you can move. All right, so we're going to go to Joshua 6:24 now. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive in her father's household and all that she had, and she dwelleth in Israel even until this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. So I just wanted to come back to Rahab and how her whole house was blessed by her being obedient. And I don't even think she knew the God that they serve. I don't even think that she understood what was going on, but she had a feeling like, I maybe should do this. And I wanted to show you guys that they saved her because of that. But before that, 24. And they burnt the city with fire and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass of iron they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. So one of the things that God told them to do was to not take anything. If you're going to go in there, you're going to destroy the city. Whatever you get, you need to put it in my house. No one needs to take anything. And I'm bringing this up because it's going to be a point in a second. So at the end of Joshua 6, we're on Joshua 6:27. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. Now imagine, Moses died. You followed all of God's instructions. Now the walls of Jericho have come down. You got to be on cloud nine, like, I did that. God did it, but I was there. I orchestrated it. Like, you got to have a big head. And it's so funny because I believe that when as millennials, actually anybody, when we're walking in purpose, we'll have a good stride for a second. But that when you have a good stride, you have to be careful because life will hit you at any time. And you got to be ready. What are you going to do after you won when life hits you? What are you going to do when God begins to test that thing? I remember I said, God, I'm healing. I'm just going to heal. I'm going to do what I need to do. The moment that I thought that I was good and I stood up, he tested my healing. How healed are you? He would ask me that all the time. How healed are you? Are you still broken from that? That's still brokenness that I see. That's still that I see. So he's testing what it is right after you have a success. So now we're going to look into Joshua's test. Go to Joshua 7. Okay. 1 through 5. I'm going to read 1 through 5. But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah, took up the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. So somebody took something they weren't supposed to take. Now they're in disobedience. Mind you, the children of Israel really should be real obedient because they've been disobedient for 40 years. How could you be disobedient and then you get into a place and you still cutting up? That means the things in you ain't died yet. That's what that represented to me. There are some things in you that have not died yet. And he's trying to figure out when that's going to die. I can't take you there with this in you. I can't take you there with this pride. I can't take you there with all this when you get so stuck on temptations. I cannot take you there. What are you doing? And so the son of Achan actually did take the gold. So now we're in 7 and 2. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth Aven on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but few. So the spies have come back and told them, You ain't even got to send all them people. We good. We just won Jericho. We good. And I believe that Joshua believed this. He was like, we just won a big battle. Like, we didn't even have to do nothing, really. We just walked around the thing like we good. And what it is, there is this confidence that we get that just because God did it this way in this season, that he's going to do it the same way in another season, that it's going to be just as easy. But you have to understand, new level, new devil, different enemies. And what the enemies are going to do is they're going to have a different game plan to you. And so it may look like it's easier, and you may think that you're ready for that. And God didn't say nothing about Joshua was supposed to be doing this. He didn't say anything to Joshua about going into the land of Ai. Joshua didn't consecrate himself the way that he was supposed to. He did not follow the same instructions that he did at Jericho, and he's going to pay for it. So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men. For they chased them from the gate even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down. Wherefore the hearts of people melted and became as water. So they lost. Right after seceding, they had a failure. And today I want to talk about, I failed, now what? Because a lot of us get into a position and we say, God, I'm following my purpose. I'm doing what I got to do. But we don't realize that there's also going to be tests after you say yes. And the tests after we say yes are going to determine what you're really made of. And we are stopping. As soon as we fail, we like, whoo, I'm done. I didn't know the opposition was going to be this bad. I'd rather go back to who I was. And God is saying, no, you can't go back to who you are. I need you to grow through this. And he's really about to grow Joshua in this season. So 7, 6 through 8. So the first thing that I want to talk about is when you say I failed, now what is number one, you need to be transparent with God. So 6 through 8 says, And Joshua rent his clothes and fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of the Lord until the eventide, he and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads. And Joshua said, Alas, O Lord, wherefore hast thou at all brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Would to God we had been content and dwelt on the other side of Jordan. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turneth their backs before their enemies? So I'm going to read that in another version because when I first read it, I didn't get it. I said, what? What does that mean? So this is the NLT. Joshua and the elders of Israel tore their clothing in dismay, threw dust on their heads, and bowed face into the ground before the ark of the Lord until evening. Then Joshua cried out, "O sovereign Lord, why did you bring us across the Jordan River if you were going to let the Amorites kill us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side." This is huge. Because now Joshua is saying, why would you even do this to us? How could you do this to us, God? And we automatically go there with God. Why would you even bring me here? I remember talking to one of my friends yesterday. She was saying, I've been applying to jobs. He'll let me get to the third round and not give me the job. I'd be like, why would you even do that? And we have to understand that it's okay to question and to have a candid relationship with God. A lot of people think that something is wrong with that. I grew up thinking I really can't tell God, how I feel. But in relationship, when you have a relationship with a person, if you don't tell them how you feel, you have no communication. So Joshua is literally on his face like, God, what did we do to deserve this? And God is going to tell him right now. So after you're transparent with God, we're going to go to verse 10. But the Lord said to Joshua, "Get up. I'm still on NLT. Why are you lying on your face like this? Israel has sinned and broken my covenant. They have stolen some of the things that I commanded must be set apart from me. And they have not only stolen them, but have lied about it and hidden the things among their own belongings." So the first thing you're going to do is be transparent with God. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to have to get up. After we fail, we like to stay down for about a whole month. God literally told me one day, your bounce back game is weak, Jasmine. He was like, he was like, all that just gets you? Wow. Like, this is what we gonna do? How can I take? Wow, you are so dramatic. I'd be like, God, I tried this time and you didn't even, he'd be like, I just don't get it. Like, you just, a little opposite, a little enemy, not even a big one, a little enemy gets you and you just be like, because you have to understand when you're connected to God, all the enemies are small. Because it's already been defeated. And when you realize that you already have the victory through God, you have to stop looking at the enemies as they're bigger than this, that this situation is bigger than what I've been through before. So he told him to get up, and you really cannot stay in your mess. I was talking to my dad, and he gave a good example of depression, something I never thought about. I'm talking about it was mind-blowing, so I'm going to share it with y'all. So if y'all quote Tommy Newson if you share this. So he was saying that depression is when you put a brick on a pillow. And he said, if I leave the brick on the pillow for a long time, what's going to happen if I pick the brick up? I said, it's going to be indented. He said, exactly. He was like, that's depression. You can't stay there. Because if you stay there in a place for so long, it's going to be really hard for you to bounce back. But if you take the brick off, the brick is there because the brick's going to be there regardless. If you take the brick off quickly, or if you begin to let God take on your pain, say, God, I'm giving it all to you. I don't like this. I did fail. I'm giving it all to you. Here it is, God. When you take that off, you're able to bounce back quicker than you are. So we have to be very careful when we fail and when we get into our heads and get into our feelings about the things that are going on with us. God is saying, how long are you going to stay down? I need you to get up. We don't have time for this. You still gotta you have more battles to win. You stuck on this one battle. Yeah, your man died. Yeah, you thought you was good, but you're not, and that's okay. But I need you to get up. Don't you stay here. And we have got to learn how to bounce back with God. Not bounce back by yourself, because you can't do it by yourself. That false confidence, like, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it hurt, but, like, I'm good. No, like, God, I'm still hurt. Like, I am still hurting. I need you to do something right now in this season. I need you to help me. And that's the thing. God doesn't mind helping us. Even when we get into situations on our own, we mess up. We did it. It wasn't the enemy. It was you. It was the inner you, not the inner me. It was you. You did it. And he still be like, it's okay. I'm going to take you out. That's all right. It's okay. And so we have to learn to get up, because you cannot stay there. All right. Now we're going to go to 7:13 through 15. Get up, command the people to purify themselves in preparation for tomorrow. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Hidden among you, O Israel, are things set apart for the Lord. You will never defeat your enemies until you remove these things from among you. I'm going to come back to that. In the morning you must present yourselves by tribes, and the Lord will point out the tribe to which the guilty man belongs. That tribe must come forward with its clans, and the Lord will point out the guilty clan. The clan will then come forward, and the Lord will point out the guilty family. Finally, each member of the guilty family must come forward one by one. The one who has stolen what was set apart for destruction will himself be burned with fire, along with everything he has, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord and has done a horrible thing in Israel. The third thing you got to do is, first, be transparent. 2, get up. 3, you need to be obedient. You really need to make sure that you are in a position with God where you can really hear from him now. You failed. If you don't want to do it again, if you're tired of feeling the way that you are, you need to make sure that you're obedient. You need to make sure that you have gotten to a place. It said that Joshua and the elders got on their face for an entire day. We don't even like to pray for 5 minutes. A whole day. God, what did I do? He took his clothes. They were real dramatic back then. They took their clothes off and they put dirt on it. I wouldn't have done that. But it's important to have a place where you like, God, just, help me. You got to have a moment. And we can't just be praying for 5 minutes. And what we got to start doing is understanding that prayer is a conversation. So I can't just be saying, oh, God, and I'm so sorry, and I just da-da-da-da, and then getting up from prayer like, whew, that felt better. He's not just waiting for you to just tell all the problems without giving you no instructions. He loves to respond to you. Okay, I know you hurting, but I still love you. You know that, right? He's trying to build you back up. So make sure you also having that two-way conversation with God. You're not the only one that's supposed to be talking. All right, so now we're on 16. Well, actually, I'm just gonna explain to y'all what happened. So they ended up going to Achan, and I'm just gonna read. Okay, 19. Then Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, by telling the truth. Make your confession and tell me what you have done. Don't hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel." So Achan is now confessing what he's done. And after he confessed, they went back to his place. They found the stuff. They came back to Achan, and they stoned him. And I was like, wow, God, that was really dramatic. Why would you kill him for that? He said, but think about it like this. You need to kill the very thing that is holding you back, what I'm trying to do in your life. I said, oh, now that's good, God. I'm going to write that down. And I did, obviously. But, there are some things holding you back. And if you don't kill it, you are not going to go there. And that's why I'm going to go back to 13, because that thing blessed me. I said, woo! Now I see why, when I was younger, I used to be like, they're so dramatic about the Bible. I get it now. I get it. I'm like, wow, some good stuff in here. So the end of verse 13, he said, you will never defeat your enemies until you remove these things from among you. You can't defeat it because you still got some things in you that need to die. You have to kill it. And they didn't just kill Achan any type of way. They ain't shoot him, and they didn't have guns back then. They ain't kill him with a sword. They stoned him to make sure he was dead. There are some things in your life that you're going to have to make sure dies in this season. We're about to enter into winter and all the flowers and stuff die. You got to make sure it dies and that there is no resurrection, because you got too much to do to let something hold you back from that. You have way too much to do. We are entering into a season. You wonder why 2018 ain't been better. It's because there's some things that you haven't let die. I was talking to my friends. I said, it's been a long 3 years. 2016 was bad. 2017 was bad. And 2018, it really ain't no different. And God said, why? Have you let things die? Or do you act like you're letting them die, then you pick them right back up? Stop saying that you're surrendering things to me, and then you grab them back when you don't know who you are anymore. You grab them back when you want to feel comfortable again. You grab them back when you don't know what's happening around your life. Stop grabbing the things that are supposed to be dead. Let them die. And I know it hurts, but to let things die. I'm sure it hurt Joshua. Dang, that was my homie. I got to kill him, though, because it ain't right. And so there are some things that you're comfortable with. You're going to have to let depression die. You're going to have to let doubt die. You're going to have to let despair die. You're going to have to let fear of failure die. You're going to have to let fear of rejection die. I didn't realize that I had a problem with rejection until God set me down and said, why don't you want to do this? I said, I just don't know, like, what I'm supposed to do, like, how it's supposed to work out. And I was like, I'm really scared to fail. Like, I'm really scared of rejection. And he took me all the way back to childhood. Have you ever really accepted what I had for you? Have you ever accepted what I placed inside of you? Haven't you always tried to hide it? Haven't you always tried to mask it under something else? That's your problem. Let's get to that. And so when you go back to those things, I have conversations with God now where I trace things back to the root of it. And that's exactly what Joshua did. God said, somebody in your camp did it. And Joshua went back and traced it back to who it was. They found the family. They went to the house. They saw it. They burned it. You're going to have to trace back some things in your life. You tired of being triggered? You know, people say that now. That's a millennial word. I'm triggered. Oh, I'm so triggered. It's not funny sometimes, because sometimes when you trigger, when you have those emotional triggers, they are there to let you know something's off. And you got to fix it. And some people get mad when they trigger. I get excited when I'm triggered. Woo, I'm triggered. Let me figure out what it is. I didn't even know that was in me still. Wow, thought I was over that. Thought I let that die. Obviously, I didn't stone it. So you have to make sure you are going back to those things. Go back to those triggers and say, why does this bother me? Why do I have a problem here? Why do I not like to go in these situations? Why when is it when God tells me to do certain things, I'm hesitant? Why am I doing this? And you have to, when you ask yourself those questions, even write it out, talk to God. I've done that process. It's such a beautiful process because you realize there's so many things that you have to work on. And the one thing about that process, you have to make sure that you don't get into a defeated mindset. Jesus, something else to work on? God, I thought I was okay. And what we're doing when we're innerly growing is it's going to take time. And like I said, we don't like waiting on anything. You're not going to wake up one day and be over everything in your life. You're not going to wake up over a day and everything that was supposed to die inside of you died. It takes time. It's a gradual process. Be very patient with yourself and be very forgiving of yourself as well. So we're going to go to one through 4 in Joshua 8. So in Joshua 8. Then the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid or discouraged. Take all your fighting men and attack Ai. For I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his town, and his land. You will destroy them as you destroyed Jericho and its king. But this time you may keep the plunder and the livestock for yourself. Set an ambush behind the town. So Joshua and all the fighting men set out to attack Ai. Joshua chose 30,000 of his best warriors. So Joshua's smart now. He said, I ain't taking 3,000. Y'all killed us when I took 3,000. I'm taking all my men. And now I'm going into the place where I can hear from God, and I know that he's telling me to take my men of his best warriors and send them out at night with these orders. Hide in ambush close behind the town and be ready for action. When our main army attacks, the men of Ai will come out to fight as they did before, and we will run away from them. We will let them chase us until we have drawn them away from the town, for they will say, the Israelites are running away from us as they did before. There are some enemies that are waiting on you to come back, and they know they like, I got a plan for them already because we already defeated them here. But one of the biggest things when you're saying, I failed, now what? Number 5 is you need to go back to the place you failed at. We don't like going back. I always hear people say, I can't go back to that place. I can't go back. I can never go back to that mental state. I can never go back to that depressive state. I can never go back to that season in my life. What if God is telling you, I need you to go back because I want to show the enemy what I can do for you. I need to show them what I'm going to do for you. And so he's telling him to go back to the very place that you failed at. Go back to the very place that took you out. Go back to the very place that had you in a very despairing moment. Go back. And it's hard for us to go back because we don't like to fail twice. Why would you go back? What you mean? That doesn't make sense. God's saying, I'm trying to show you something. That the very thing that defeated you, I'm going to defeat it. And I'm going to do it real good this time. I'm going to make sure they remember not to mess with you on this level anymore. So we will let them chase us until we have drawn them away from the town, for they will say the Israelites are running away from us as they did before. Then while we are running from them, you will jump up from your ambush and take possession of the town. So what God was telling him to do, he gave him a tactic. He gave him an attack plan. So he told them to go out and they're going to leave the town uninhabited. So you're going to be able to walk into this town and no one's going to be there. That is how you're going to get it. So he set up an ambush for them. And then he said, you will jump up from your ambush and take possession of the town, for the Lord your God will give it to you. Set the town on fire as the Lord has commanded. You have your orders. So now I kind of saw how God began to change the way that he talked to Joshua. In the beginning, he was telling him to do long, drawn-out plans, and I need you to do this, and I need you to do that. But I think Joshua has elevated in his spiritual walk to the point where God says, follow your orders. You know what to do. I told you what to do. And we begin to get confident in our stride when we start to trust God more. And God's conversation changes. He used to have to butter us up. It's okay. I love you. But now he's saying, you know what to do. And some of us ask, God, what do I do? He'd be like, I already told you that. I already told you what to do. You're scared. I get it. But I told you what to do. Now go do it. So number 14. We're going chapter 8, 14 through 17. When the king of Ai saw the Israelites across the valley, he and all his army hurried out early in the morning and attacked the Israelites at a place overlooking the Jordan Valley. But he didn't realize that there was an ambush behind the town. Joshua and the Israelite army fled toward the wilderness as though they were badly beaten. Then all the men in the town were called out to chase after them. In this way, they were lured away from the town. There was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not chase after the Israelites, and the town was left wide open. Then the Lord said to Joshua, point the spear in your hand toward Ai, for I will hand the town over to you. Joshua did as he commanded. As soon as Joshua gave the signal, all the men in the ambush jumped up from their position and poured into the town. They quickly captured it and set it on fire. The part where he says, point your spear in your hand toward Ai. So if you go down, Joshua did this until every single person from that town died. And what God is trying to see if you're going to do, this is the last one. Are you going to maintain your posture? Are you going to maintain in a prayerful place? Are you going to maintain in this place now that I've sent you back to the place that you failed at? What are you going to do? Because we can't do what we did last time. Obviously, we failed. What are you going to do? Are you going to maintain? And I'm sure Joshua was like, this is really weird for me to point the spear, but I'm just going to do it because the last time I didn't listen. The last time I didn't go to God for what I need to do. I failed at it. So it's important that we maintain our posture when God is telling us to go back to the place that we failed at. Are you going to continue praying? Because the thing is, when we start winning a little bit, even after we fail, we be like, well, we good. And God said, no, maintain in the same prayerful place that you were in when you first failed. Maintain in that place, because I know you don't want to, now you're starting to win. Now you're starting to think that you're about to take the very thing that got you. I don't want you to get cocky. I want you to stay in posture. And so make sure that you are staying in your prayer posture. So Joshua went on to be one of the greatest leaders of the Bible. And I think it's important that we understand that you have to learn how to bounce back from your failures. They will happen. They are going to be on your journey. And the closer we get to God, the better we are to know our plan of attack when we do fail. What do I do now? It's okay to fail, but God still got you. All right. Amen.
Amen. Amen. How about that? Got to get that bounce back. Wasn't there a song, kids, that said bounce back? Yeah, got to get that bounce back. That message was powerful, and it was awesome, and it was